Hello guys, can you hear us now? Just write in the chat if you can't. Hello everyone and welcome to the OP5 Visualization and Dashboard webinar. We are happy to have you. My name is Markus Blomberg and I'm a marketing specialist here at OP5. And as always, hold your questions until the end. I now hand over to Misiu, who is somewhat of an expert in OP5 Monitor. So take it away, Misiu.
Thank you, Markus. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the OP5 Visualization and Dashboard webinar. My name is Misiu Pajor. I'm the technical sales team leader here at OP5. I've been with OP5 for over 5 years and still counting. My background is from esports, so I'm very passionate about esports. I like to develop backend, but also front-end applications, and I like to travel the world. Today's agenda is that we'll be speaking very briefly about our solutions that we have to offer, which are 2 products. I'll later move on to the technical sales and how we work with our development team. And then I'll jump into the visualization aspect of this webinar. I'll touch a bit on the tips and tricks, but also I'll give you a live demonstration of the product. As you may know, we have 2 products, OP5 Monitor and OP5 Live. And OP5 Monitor is the full-fledged monitor solution that we have to offer. It's flexible and scalable. It handles very large volumes of monitor devices and checks. It's hybrid and runs in a distributed infrastructure. We also have OP5 Live, which is a lightweight version of OP5 Monitor. It's a SaaS-based service, and it's an easy-to-use web monitoring tool to check websites and applications. The typical use case is to monitor the availability, performance, and uptime of, say, websites or email services from outside being the cloud to your environment. 3 of our core strengths are unified, scalable, and hybrid. Unified being that we reduce the need of using multiple tools. So you have one and single unified dashboard that you can look at to see your monitoring environment. We're also scalable and truly scalable in that sense that we can monitor 100,000 of devices with full load balancing, but also full redundancy capabilities. We also have support for distributed environments. So if you have a data center that's isolated, meaning you have no inbound connection, but only outbound, then our distributed environment or monitoring functionality comes into play. We're also hybrid, meaning that you can run OP5 Monitor virtually or in physical hardware, but you can also run it in the cloud, maybe a private or public cloud. But in addition, you can also monitor each one of those. Here's a list of some of the OP5 Monitor features. Today, we'll be speaking very much about the visualization aspect of OP5 Monitor. One of my favorite features is the REST API. So the REST API has capabilities for integration. So if you want to automate, say, deployment of monitored devices with OP5 Monitor, the REST API would be the way to go. It natively supports JSON XML. Here's a sample list of some of our customers. They range from all different types of industries and usage. We specialize mainly in telco, broadcast, but also large enterprises. Our technical sales team has a mission, and that is to assist our existing but also new customers, but also to understand their needs and wants. And with that feedback, we internally take that to our development team that use the information to create solutions based on your input. This could also concrete cases like development creating a additional feature into the product based on, say, input we receive from customers or something the technical sales has developed specifically for a customer. And this brings us to why visualize with OP5. There are some key benefits of visualizing your data. And for a non-technical audience, like perhaps your manager, you can make complex information useful and more valuable by setting up a clear and easy to understand dashboards. The rest of the company can also gain insight and will naturally start to contribute to the wellness of your IT infrastructure, whether it's a server, an application, or a critical business application, say like your invoicing tools. We tend to advocate for less is more, as raising awareness when a real issue are present will not only lower the mean time to repair, but will also help you take the right priorities at the right time. And finally, you can separate technical issues from business operation too. And we have a function in OP5 called business services, which we will not cover during this webinar, but it plays a vital role in business operations. And I have some tips and tricks to share with you before we go into the live demonstration. And there are some things I will be covering during the live demonstration. One of the things will be dashboards, where you can collaborate across teams by sharing dashboards. We also have filter capabilities. These can be used to create dynamic views in OP5, and you can also share these filters. And then I'll be touching how to create custom columns with dynamic content. This is more of a hidden thing in OP5 that I think most of you probably have not seen yet. And then finally, I'll be touching a bit on how Nagvis can be used. Nagvis is very powerful, it's flexible, but it's also primarily used to show technical information for a non-technical audience. And this brings me to the live demonstration of the product. So let me navigate to OP5. And I have noticed there's a slight delay as I change slides, so I'll be doing it a bit slower. So hopefully by now, in a few seconds, you should see the OP5 Monitor dashboard. I'll wait a couple of seconds. Please let me know in the chat once you see the dashboard. And I believe by now you should see the dashboard. Not yet. I'll give it a couple more seconds. Can everyone see the dashboard now? Perfect. Okay, so once you log in, you see the dashboard. That's the first thing you see when you log in. So during this, what I will be doing is that I will be showing you how to create a dashboard from scratch with dynamic content. And in this case, my dashboard will show the office plans that we monitor. So we have some office plans across the globe in our offices, and the office plans are being monitored with a Raspberry Pi. And of course, these office plans are being monitored in OP5 Monitor. So what we'll be doing is that I'll be basing my dashboard based on those office plans. So before I start the dashboard, I'll show you what office plans I'm referring to. So I'll go to Hosts, All View. And in the host lists, as I scroll down, you will see on the left side are office plans. So in total, we have 7 office plans, 3 of them being offline. So in my dashboard, what I visualize is that I want to see office plans being online and those being offline, but also a list of office plans. So I'll be creating 2 filters here. One that lists all the office plans that are online, and the second one seeing all the office plans being offline. So let's start off with the one being, with the filter showing them being online. So top right corner, you have a button called Show/Edit Text Filter. If you press that one, you'll be seeing the query builder. So this query here is saying host all gives you a list of all devices in the background as we're seeing currently. Now I want to filter out all the office plans again being online or being up. And I want to base my filter on the name. So I'll press add and group. I'll add a rule. And again, we're basing it on name, being the name column. So in the list, we'll find name. And you'll notice as I build this filter, the view in the background changes in real time. But since we're not done yet with the filter, we're not getting any matches. So I'll say matching regular expression, case insensitive, and I'll write out office plans, which brings me a list of all the office plans that we are currently monitoring, which are 7 in total. But again, I want to see those being online. So I'll add another rule, and I filter based on state. The state equals 0 means online or OK. So now we're seeing all the office plans that are online. So I'll save this filter. I'll give it a name saying office plans online. And ticking in make global will make this filter visible to all users in OP5, which I want. So I'll make that global and I'll save the filter. Now I'll create my second filter listing all the office plans being offline. So I'll change the equal to greater than, because any state greater than 0 is a non-OK state. And I'll save this filter, my second filter, and instead of online, I'll name it offline. Okay, so now we've created 2 filters. And if I give the web page a quick refresh, navigate to Monitor, Hosts, I will see my filters here. Currently, I only see the offline one. That's because we have a limit on how many filters we'll list here. So I'll go to All Filters. And in this list, I see my 2 filters, online and offline, with the actual query. Great. So I'll base the dashboard based on these 2 filters. So let's create a fresh dashboard from scratch. I go to Dashboards, New Dashboard. I'll give it a name such as Office Plans Overview. Change the layout since I prefer the second layout. And what we're seeing now is an empty dashboard with no widgets added yet. So let's start adding widgets. On the top right corner, you have Dashboard Options, and then you have Add Widget. I like to work with the big numbers widget. So I'm going to add that one. And I'm going to add a second one also. And I'm going to rearrange a bit of how they are placed. So I'll place this one on the left side, and the top one right next to it. So what I want to achieve here is that the top left widget should show me devices, meaning the office plans being online, and the right one showing devices being offline. So let's start off with the online ones. So I'll edit this widget. I'll change the title to Office Plans Online. And I'll base the content on filter, and then I'll find my online filter I created. Here it is. And the second dropdown, I'll choose the very same. So if I save this, again, we had 7 office plans in total, 4 being up and 3 being down. So now we're saying 4 out of 4 in total. So what I really want is that instead of having this fraction, I just want to see a count. So I'm going to edit this widget again. And I change unit of measurement from fraction to count. I'll save the changes, which says 4 only, which is correct. Now I'll do the same for the offline one. Edit the widget, give it a name. It's a filter on the offline one. Count, and I'll save my changes. So now I'm saying 4 and 3, but as you may see, the second widget showing the offline ones is green. I want that one to show red because that's a negative value. So I'll edit this one and say threshold as greater than instead, which should make this widget red. There we go. So this is the very basics of how you can create a dashboard based on filters, but I'll also cover one more widget before we round off. And that's the list view widget. So the list view widgets by default will show you a list of all the devices that you have in OP5 with the capability or the option to load additional 20 more rows. What I'm going to do here is that I'll list all the office plans instead of all devices. So I'll edit this one. Again, a custom title. In this case, I'll say list of all office plans. And then instead of choosing a filter, I can just write out a query, the raw query here. And as I know the syntax, I'll just write it out, say office plans, meaning that all hosts that has office plans in their name should show up in this list view. And there we go. We see a list of all the office plans in a list view. A good highlight and worth to mention is that if you don't know the query language or the syntax, you can use the query builder. So what I typically do is that I'll just go to the host view and I'll build the query using query builder as we did previously. So add a role, choose name, choose matching regular expression, case insensitive, and write out office plans. And you'll see the raw query being printed out for you. So you can just copy that, navigate back to your dashboard, and then just paste it into the widget. This makes creating dashboards a breeze. But in this case, I want also my widgets on the very top. So I'll move this list view widget to the bottom, like that. So again, this is the basics of creating a dashboard, but at the end of the day, you probably also want to share this view with someone or a group of users. And this can easily be done by going to dashboard options and then just share this dashboard. You have the option to share the dashboard either to a group of users or a specific user. In this example, I'll share it to a group called guests. So everyone logging in that belongs to the group right guests will be seeing this dashboard. And a quick highlight on this one also is that once you share this dashboard, all the users that belongs to this group will be able to see the dashboard, but not be able to reorganize how the widgets are placed. They will not be either able to edit the widget. So the dashboard becomes in a read-only mode for them to see. And that's a way for you also to have full control of what information you share across the teams. All right, enough about dashboards. I'll move on to custom columns. So custom columns in OP5 is, at least I think, more of a hidden feature. And it's very useful if you want to visualize some very relevant information for a specific device or a set of devices. Say, for example, your SLA on your network devices, or a location for your devices, a serial number, pretty much anything. You can also use custom columns to create dynamic links to, say, an external page or a management interface of a network device. So to put this into context a bit, I'll use the office plans once again. So I'll modify the office plant. I'm going to configure the one in Stockholm, Sweden. So I'll configure this office plant. And on them here, you see custom variables. So I'm going to add a custom variable that I want to later visualize or show in the list views. So in this example, I'll just say add custom variable, and I'll give the variable name. So variables in OP5 is like tagging with a key and value. So in this case, I'll say ownership, and the ownership would be me in this case. Submit the changes. I'll save the changes. And I will navigate back to the host view page. So the purpose of this is that I want that tag being displayed in its own column. And this is configurable under My Account. So navigate to My Account, then you have the Columns and List View section. And by the way, if you want to know the syntax here and seek more options to configure, you can just press Read More here, which will take you to the knowledge base article describing all the settings you can configure here. In this example, I will use the custom variables, meaning I will expose the value of the ownership, being my name, in the custom column. So if I scroll down, you see the example using custom variables, and this is the syntax. So I'll just actually copy this straight off. Navigate back to OP5 and paste it under table hosts. I'll change some values here to reflect the changes I did earlier. So instead of section, I'll name the column ownership or owner. And the custom variables would be ownership that I defined. That's it. So I'll save the changes. So if I navigate to the host view now, you will see a custom column on the top called owner. Undefined will show if you don't have any variable reflecting the ownership tag I said earlier. If I scroll down a bit, you will see that the plant I set the tag on will expose my name here. So this is a way for you to create very dynamic views in that sense. So you can tag up your devices with tags like serial numbers or version numbers or whatnot, and then expose that in columns. You can also, by the way, exclude specific columns. So for example, alias in this case perhaps takes up a lot of space. I want to exclude that one. So I'll just go to My Account and say minus alias and comma, and I'll just save that. And going back to the view, you will see that the alias column has disappeared. So that's briefly in regards to how you can create custom columns with dynamic content. This can also be used, for example, to show related log messages for this device. So you can create custom links also that can take you either to internal pages in OP5 or external pages that you may have. Moving on a bit, I'll move on to Nagvis. So as I mentioned earlier, Nagvis is a very powerful tool, and the purpose with it really, as I mentioned, is that you can show technical information in a non-technical way. So navigating to Nagvis is done by going to Monitor and Nagvis. What I typically do is that I upload a background picture because that's how Nagvis works. So you can create a map like these ones, and they are based on a background picture, may it be JPEG, PNG, or whatnot. So let's start off from scratch. I already have an image I downloaded off Google, so I'm going to upload that one. Go to Options, Manage Backgrounds. Then you have Upload Background Picture. Press Choose File. Choose the background picture. In this case, it's a geographical map I uploaded. Press Upload, which uploads that background picture. And based on this background picture, I want to create a map, like any of these. So I go to Options, Manage Maps. I'll give the map a name like Office Plans Overview. Alias being Office Plant. Choose Regular Map and press Create. So this creates an empty map with no background picture yet. So you simply edit the map, go to Map Options. On the very top, you see Map Image. That's the background image. Press the checkbox, which gives you a drop-down menu of all the background pictures you've uploaded. In my case, I uploaded one called Geographical Map, so I'll choose that one. And I'll save my changes. So now I'm seeing my background picture I uploaded, and on this background picture, I'm going to place out my office plans. And this is easily done. Go to Edit Map once again, and then press Add Icon and a host. Pressing host will give you the option to place out the icon anywhere on the background picture. In this case, I'll choose United States. I'll press anywhere, which brings me another pop-up. And here I can choose what hosts would I like to visualize on this background image. So I'm going to choose one of the office plants. And I'll choose the one in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And save my changes. And this brings me an icon, as you see, which is shown in real time. So as the state changes for this device, that will reflect what I'm seeing here also. And currently I cannot drag and drop this icon. That's because I'm not in edit mode. So to drag and drop that, just go to Edit Map and press Unlock or Unlock All, which puts the map in edit mode, as you can see. And this will enable you to move around the icons as you please. But also you can right-click the icons. So you can modify it, you can delete it, or you could clone this. One thing I've noticed is that I have an icon, but I really don't know what device this represents. So just right-click it, press Modify Object, and in this pop-up, choose Label Show from No to Yes, and save the changes. And that will expose the device name. You can configure this more in detail to remove the borders, change the font, change the color of the font. You have the full flexibility to make any changes to this. So this is fantastic. So I've created the Nagvis map, and I've shown you how this is done. It's very easily done. But now I also want this Nagvis map to show up on my dashboard. So I'll navigate back to the initial dashboard we created, Office Plants Overview. I'm going to move this widget to the left. And I'm going to add the widget showing me the Nagvis map. So simply go to Dashboard Options, Add Widget, find the Nagvis. And again, configure this widget, give it a title such as Office Plants Geomap. And then choose the map you created. In my case, I named the Nagvis map Office Plants Overview. And save that. So now we have a dashboard that utilizes filters, but also the Nagvis functionality. Okay, so that was a bit brief, Markus, in regards to how you can set up dashboards, filters with Nagvis, but also how to create custom columns.
Yes, and I'm sorry if the screen is taking some time to load. Hopefully you're seeing this, and if you're not, we'll just open up for some questions. Is there anything that you're wondering about? I know that Fred wrote a question earlier about the minimum number of characters to write. I don't really know what you're referring to. Do you know, Misiu?
Yes, I can reply to that. So I'm guessing that's in reference to when you create a filter. And no, there's actually no limitation of how many characters you can have. It's simply one, that's enough. I think the cool benefits of using the filter functionality is that you can also use regular expressions. So meaning that everything that starts with the character A typically is used in combination with the naming convention you've set on your devices.
Yeah, and sorry again for the lagging. I think it was up to 13 seconds at times. Does anyone have any other questions regarding dashboards and visualization? We'll hold on for a while so that you can type it in. It seems to be okay. Does Nagvis?
Good question.
Yeah.
Yes, that is the official map tool built into OP5. That's the one we recommend using also. It's, as I earlier mentioned, Nagvis is very flexible. You can pretty much visualize anything in any format. And the demonstration I just did was utilizing our demo environment, which is, by the way, public. So you can reach it in demo.op5.com. So you can just log in there to see the Nagvis examples we have. Some of our customers actually use Nagvis to say, plot out where their vehicles are in real time using lat long coordinates. So I mean, there are many options in terms of visualizing data with Nagvis. I see a question here from you, Paul. So if I select layout, I don't appear to be able to get the two along the top as you did in your example. I understand, Paul, and I believe that can be with the snapping of the widget, meaning that once you drag and drop, you pretty much just have to find exactly where it snaps to the grid. Can take some practice in some case. Another question here regarding, can a default dashboard be pushed to new users? Yes. So what I usually do there is that I define a dashboard to a group of users. So meaning that if you know that all your new users are going to belong to the group, say guests or admins, then just share that dashboard to that specific group. And it will automatically appear once they log in. Another question here from you, Farid. Let me just read this up real quick. Good question, Farid. No, we really haven't, additionally developed any new features to Nagvis itself. Although what we've done is that we've incorporated the open source project, and with that, you can utilize other functionalities within OP5 in combination with Nagvis, dashboards being one of them. So you can publish a Nagvis in a different format than you typically can do with open source projects. Johan, I see a question also. Good question. I'm not quite sure if you can lock it to say, long lat coordinates, not out of the box in the automap itself. I'd have to investigate that for you a bit more deep, Johan. So what you can do, Johan, send us that question over email, and we'll assist you with that to see if there's a possibility of doing so. Torbjörn, yes, of course, this presentation will be public, and it will also be uploaded to YouTube. But after this webinar, we'll be mailing out the link over email also. And by the way, Johan, please send your question to ts@op5.com in regards to that Nagvis automap locking the point. So ts@op5.com. Farid, yes, we can get back to you on that. If you can, please email info@op5.com, Farid.
So does anyone have anything else? Anything that you're thinking about? And it can also be questions regarding other things than what we talked about today, because we're very happy to answer any of your questions. I'm assuming that you're typing, or maybe you aren't typing. Dirk has another question here.
Good question, Dirk. Once you share a dashboard, so for example, if you share a dashboard to a group called, say, admins, but the user does not exist yet. So you create the user, you assign the user to the group admins. So once they log in, what they will be seeing is the dashboard you've assigned to them. Although in some cases, they probably will see one dashboard called new dashboard, but also the dashboard you shared with them. But we have a workaround for that, Dirk. So if you have stumbled upon that, please send an email to ts@op5.com and I will assist you with that.
Anything else? Because if you don't have any more questions, I would say that that's it, folks. I hope you had a good time, and stay tuned for the next webinar.
Thank you, everyone, for your time.
Yep, thank you very much. See you guys later.